Welcome back to Teresa's Den. My name is Teresa and I'm very much alive. I have an awful, garbage, filthy mouth, so viewer discretion is advised. And if you're not into that or weird shit in general, this is definitely not the place for you. Feel free to exit out the video here. No harm, no foul, but I'll remember our time fondly. Why, hello my little darlings. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about the new Natasha Denona holiday palette, the Mini Metropolis. Ooh. Now, if you are new here, hi, I'm a garbage person, and I also did a review of the Giant Metropolis palette, and I'll link it up in the corner there. Don't be alarmed. I feel like I look a lot better now than I did back then. A lot of trial and error. But, spoiler alert, I hated that fucking palette. I hated it with a passion. And I know there are many people that are like, I love that palette, and suck its ass. And that's great. The beauty about makeup is that it's subjective, right? So what works for you may not work for me, or vice versa. So definitely when you're watching reviews, watch a bunch of them, because everybody has a different experience with stuff. In any case, if you did get the big Metropolis palette and it is your bread and motherfucking butter, good for you, bitch. I'm so happy for you that you did not waste your money. Because that's really what this is all about. With that said, the reason why I picked this palette is, well, this little green shade, okay? That was the only reason why I wanted this palette. It was calling my name like a goddamn siren, and here I am. So let me tell you a little bit about it first. Mini Metropolis retails for $25. This is a mini eyeshadow palette that is based on the best-selling Metropolis palette, whatever, with shades inspired by the New York scheme of the 20th century. It includes 5 matte and metallic shades for a variety of looks. So for $25, you get this adorable little palette. And this packaging is pretty much the same packaging as all of the Natasha Denona mini palettes, except you have a nice fun green background as opposed to having like the standard white background. But probably the best part about this whole thing is that you do get a little brush, which I have to say is pretty fucking nice. Now the brush is okay. It's a synthetic fluffy eye brush. The brush hairs were soft, which is nice, but for someone who has hooded eyes, this is a little bit too big for my eye shape. So I'm probably not gonna be really utilizing it all that much, which, you know, it kind of sucks, but I'm kind of happy that this wasn't like $35 or something like that because there's a brush included. So for $25, I'm not really missing too much if I'm not using the brush. I honestly feel like this set is one of the best gift sets probably that's going to be coming out this year, because not only does it make a wonderful gift, but it does make for a great stocking stuffer as well. Now in this palette, like I mentioned, you do get 5 shades. 3 of those shades are actually existing shades which can be found in the Metropolis palette, and then you have these 2 over here that are new shades. So let's break it down by shade. We're gonna start with this corner over here. So the first shade is Blaze, and this is an existing shade, and it's described as a champagne gold high shine. This is also categorized as K, which means it's the crystal shades. This is a beautiful sparkling shimmer shade. Like, it's gorgeous. Yes, there is bukkake. Yes, there's a lot of it. Yes, it can be a little difficult to clean, so you kind of have to be careful with it because you could get glitter pregnant. I am expecting. But I will say that it's one of those shades that are like super impactful, so you don't need to keep going back in to build up opacity. This bitch is pigmented at the start. I found that this really adhered nicely with a brush and some glitter glue. I did use a finger, and I found that with a finger you definitely get a little bit more fallout, so try to use a brush. It kind of saves you a little bit, but still you're still gonna find some rogue sparkles trying to have sex with your face. It is what it is. The longevity is super fucking awesome, like super awesome. I didn't experience any difficulty with the shade other than some fallout. Like, there was no cracking, no fading, nothing. Everything stayed into place, especially with glitter glue. And I wore this the other day for more than 12 hours. It was fine. It was perfect. It was awesome. Like, that's a great fucking shade. Super happy with it. Now the next shade is Rope. And this is another existing shade, which is described as a warm beige creamy matte. This one's fantastic as well. It's beautifully pigmented and it goes on the lid with such ease. Now, I primarily use this as a crease shade because I don't really have that many options here. So I didn't experience any sort of like patchiness, difficulty blending. It worked well with the other matte shades as well as the shimmer shades in this palette. The longevity was terrific. It was awesome. Super happy about that shade. Now the last existing shade, and the reason why I picked up this fucking palette, is Jubilee. And this is described as a vibrant metallic teal. And honestly, this is your money shot, bitch. This is your money shot. And the reason why you're gonna pick up this palette, because it's absolutely stunning. However, I wanna make a quick comparison. So if you do have the Pat McGrath holiday palette, I think this came out in 2019. I think it did. This one has a green in here, which was probably one of the reasons why I wanted and picked up this palette. So I'm gonna throw up the swatch over here. They do look a little similar. However, I will say that Natasha Denona just appears to be a little bit more brighter. That said, this is a great fucking shade. It's beautifully pigmented and there's barely any fallout, which is a welcome change from the first shade, Blaze. It adhered great with glitter glue. I didn't experience any sort of texture issues, any spicy butthole. I was able to combine both of the metallic shades together. They looked wonderful. Cannot stress enough that there was no texture issues. Everything just looks so smooth. This is a great shade. Again, longevity, super fantastic. No fading, no balding, no flaking, nothing falling throughout your day, getting into your mouth and you having this weird taste all day. Everything is good with this shade. Love this shit. Now here are the new shades. This one is Bowl. I want to call it Boil, but I think it's pronounced Bowl. This is described as a cedar dark brown creamy matte. Much like Rope, it operated very much the same. Now this is going to be the darkest shade in the palette. So this works not only as an outer corner shade, a lash line shade, but it also works very well in the crease if you're adding a little bit of dimension with the shade Rope. It's pigmented, has great longevity. I didn't experience any sort of fading, any balding, any longevity issues. Everything was great. It's so funny, I really haven't been a fan of like this creamy matte formula in the Metropolis palette. I really just did not fucking like it. But this one, I love it. I don't know if they have been tweaking the formula or what, but the last few palettes that have this creamy matte formula, I've been a fan. I know. Maybe the tides are fucking turning finally. Who knows? But really, really enjoyed this shade. Now the last shade is a new shade as well, and it's the shade Corrode. And it's weird because it's described as a rusty medium brown. To me, it looks like beige. That said, it does appear on my uncooked chicken skin, so that's good. But it does take a little bit of layering just to have like a little bit more of a solid opacity. So while I can use this shade for the inner corner of my lid to make a really beautiful all matte look, this shade is also perfect for blending out any sort of harsh edges, just to have more of like a seamless airbrush effect that we all want to fucking achieve. I do wish it was a bit brighter, only because I'm a fucking sucker and a slut for a matte inner corner highlight. Oh my God, there's just something about it sometimes. I'm like, ah, bitch, it's just so pretty. And this shade, it's like beige. So it doesn't really brighten up the inner corner on my uncooked chicken ass. But at the same time, I kind of feel like I'm gonna be utilizing this shade a lot because sometimes I like to just have liner on the top lash line and that's it. But I do have like some like slight discolorization slash freckles that appear on my fucking eyelid that I hate. So while I normally use a concealer base, the concealer creases if I don't put anything on top of it. So I think for me, I might actually utilize this shade a little bit more because just putting it all over the lid just to have like a clean base. So yeah, I mean, like, it's my least favorite shade, but now that I'm thinking about it out loud, I'm like, you know, I actually am probably gonna have a lot of use for it. I just wish it was a little bit brighter for the inner corner because obviously I just want everything my way. Listen, for $25, this is fucking great. This is simply for the people who hated the Metropolis palette like myself, but still dream about that beautiful metallic teal shade. So I'm thrilled that I picked this up. I also firmly believe that this would make for a really beautiful gift to someone if you feel so fucking generous. And the price point is excellent. I like that you do get the addition of the brush, and while it may not really work for me all that well because I have fucking hooded eyes, it could work for you or your loved one. Now, Natasha Denona usually has very hit or miss quality in my opinion. So anytime someone asks me like which Natasha Denona palette that I recommend, I usually always say start small, meaning go with the mini palettes. For the most part, the mini palettes have been really fucking consistent with the occasional dud here and there. They have been solid across the board. And this one is no different. This one's awesome. And again, I cannot reiterate that this has been more consistent than some of the larger or mid-sized palettes. In my opinion, for $25, you get a beautiful fucking color story. You can get a fair amount of looks when using this palette. Granted, like, you know, yes, okay, maybe you could do like 3 or 4 and then everything starts to look the fucking same. So obviously this is gonna be more of a companion piece. The metallics operate so beautifully. I can imagine that this is gonna pair well with other palettes that I have in my collection. So if you're interested, definitely check this out. You will not be disappointed. And I have to say, this is probably one of my favorite holiday releases. So far, I've actually been kind of, yeah, I would say for the most part, enjoying some of the holiday makeup that has come out. And this one is a fucking steal, so definitely check it out. But if you do have the Metropolis palette, I don't see why you would want this because you already have your palette and there are 3 existing shades and the 2 new shades. Honestly, they're basic bitch shades. It's not like they're super fucking amazing, so obviously don't pick it up. But this is literally for my people, the people that fucking hated that palette and just still dream about that green. This is for you, baby. enjoy. That said, now I want to hear from y'all. Let me know down below if you picked up this palette, or if you want to pick up this palette, or if you're like, no, fuck this palette. Let me know, because I love hearing from you and I just love your faces. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So with that said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. It's free, and hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, to all my beautiful, wonderful patron bubbies. Thank you so much for keeping this delicious, disgusting, filthy, trashy, really filthy, really gross garbage boat afloat. I couldn't do without you, and I love your adorable little delicious faces. If you want to know what is currently on my face, and I don't have anything on my nails, I know, shocking, but if you want to know what is on my face and where to get this palette, everything will be listed in the description box below. And I'll see you little macaroons later. Bye!